had this. Do you have a picture of them?
No, I don't have
Oh,
nothing
you
like
don't?
that.
Well, I'll have you one made like that.
No, I don't have one.
We sent off and had this one made.
Yeah, that's good.
Would you want that size or a
Well, that's,
bigger one?
no, that's just so I've got one.
Okay.
That's a good size.
And
Sure,
then this
show
is
it
the
to Bill.
one that.
Oh, I remember this one, and
Now,
I wondered whatever
no,
happened to this. Who's got that picture?
No, he sent this one to me.
No, that. Well, see, Mama had a big one of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she had a bigger one
Well,
than
I'll
that.
have you a copy of that made then.
Yeah, I've thought of this so many times because Bill couldn't believe this is me, as skinny as I am, because I got the fat, see? Did you see this?
Yeah, this is a grandma and grandpa, isn't it?
That's the Trogdon, they're having a Trogdon reunion. I just got this the other day, so it's kind of late getting here. At, near Springfield.
Missouri. Hmm.
You might even know these people. They're asking who they are right here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start copying, or we won't get anything done, I guess, but you can look at these if you want. This here.
See, here's Karen. I don't know how much.
Oh, well,
that's Karen, and this is all a
looks
lot
different there, doesn't she, than what I remembered her. Yeah, it looks like her though now.
See, there's a. See, here that's on that, but. And then, see this one. I see you won't want to copy all these, but I thought she rides the wing.
Well, yeah, we'll copy them.
Because there's so many of them, see.
I'll put this stuff up until we do this, then you can look at it, okay?
Yeah.
But this is Jeremiah's, this here's Jeremiah's, what do you call it, Melinda? Same thing. You know, when he's in Confederate Army and sent to the archives in Washington, D.C. And that's his papers, you know, from being in service.
You mean kind of like discharge papers?
See, doesn't that look like Grandpa? He looks kind of like Daddy's writing for Trogdon.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
Yeah, this
is getting all this stuff.
This is his discharge, and it tells when he went in and when he got out and all that stuff.
Now, where'd you get these?
Now this,
That JB go out of his head over this.
We made copies of it.
did we?
I said we can.
Oh, that's why I was
We
going
can
to
leave
say.
her a copy.
Yeah, we can leave you a copy of this. And I bet you didn't know this. You might have one. This woman up in Missouri, she copied this off of a book and sent to Mother.
No, JB found somebody out in Annandale that's a Trogdon. But he doesn't. He took my book.
See here, this is the one Trogdon wrote this in 1920 or something on that W.F. Trogdon. You know, he's in that book, remember, and he's the one that had the mansion and.
Well, now see, JB's got a book. He is trying to figure this all out.
Well, Melinda asked me if we ought to bring it, and I said, well, she has one.
Well,
so I didn't
JB
bring
took it. Because he's gonna go through it.
But anyway, this is, he tells the story and everything, and we're wanting to copy some of these off too.
Yeah,
And he tells in the bottom, he wants them to, I mean at the end, you know, he wants them to keep this book up of these ancestors, and of course, anybody knows they haven't, you know, until now.
Well, see,
And, they're gonna make, they say they're gonna make another Trogdon book and add on the, you know, like
The one we had.
and, yeah. And like if you want anything corrected, which we probably need that corrected about Grandpa, about Jeremiah Trogdon. Because whenever I wrote that, I didn't say in the letter, I mean, when I was writing that, see, I didn't know anything, and I didn't know, see, we really didn't know what we was doing when they asked for that.
yeah.
Because we didn't know anything about genealogy or any of that stuff. And so I just wrote what Daddy told me, all he knew, you know, and I never thought about writing to you and telling you to write a history. Because I guess I thought since he didn't know much more, that maybe nobody knew anything about him, you know.
The thing is, Carolyn, you know, men don't pay as much attention as women do.
Yeah, I know that now.
They just don't do it.
But
You take him in there. he don't remember what he even heard, you know, and, cause he don't pay attention in the first place.
Cause they don't care anything about it.
No,
probably.
they don't.
And, but anyway, I did write that scared the horses and had it around way. Well, they had in there that he was killed by the train, you know, in that book.
He wasn't, he just killed with the horses and ran
Yeah.
away with Dad's hack, you know, and it was Dad's horses and hack. So he was engaged to get married at that time, and he wouldn't, because when Grandpa got killed and he decided he's the oldest one, he had to take care of the family, so that's what he did.
Go ahead. I'm gonna just record what you're saying.
Oh gosh, let me get a teeth in so I can talk a little better. I can do a little better. Bill says, get your teeth in, you can't talk.
Here, I'm gonna get, are you going this way?
Yeah, I gotta get my teeth there over there. No, ours would've been, she'd been just thrilled to death, you know, all of this, I know.
Well, I wish you could have been.
Well, I'd have called her, but I knew she had to go down yonder, or I'd called her. She'd hightailed it up here, I know. Well, she gets so lonely for everybody.
Okay. Here's some, you wanna go ahead and be copied? Okay. Here's some questions Pam wanted to see if you could answer that she sent. Who did Grandpa Trogdon remind you of, their mother or?
Well, see, Carolyn, as like I told
you
you,
didn't know
all
their
we
mother and
had.
dad.
No, she's talking about Howard.
Oh,
Did Howard remind her mom and dad?
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't,
That took me a little bit.
Did Howard remind us of Mother or Dad, either one, which
Yeah.
one?
his temperament or nobody have.
Nobody had one like that. Oh, Mother did that. Iris and I have talked about it. She said, of course, she was home longer after he got to be grown than I was. She said, he absolutely, Mother didn't know what to do with him sometimes.
Well, you know, Johnny had them temper tantrums when he was little.
Bad. He was bad. Well, Iris is as stubborn as a mule. See, when she still tells this, well, of course, I wasn't home. All I know is what she told me. But her and Vern went to get the cattle, and they didn't find them. But he promised her that she could ride in the saddle when they went back, 'cause she's behind. Well, when he got back, he wouldn't let her get in the saddle. And so he's whipping the horse. Mom's trying to make her behave herself and everything, so he's whipping the horse to make it go, and she'd hold back. And she said, Mother told me, she said, I believe I'd have to beat that kid to death. She would, and she never cried or nothing. She said, let there and beat on her. She was bullheaded. Like Gerald said, he told her one time, he said, I don't dare to start on you, 'cause I know I'd have to kill you for this. And so, but she's just as good as gold, but she is really got a head of her own.
Oh, we'll say different ones in our families, like the Ledbetter side and like the Trogdon side, you know, so stubborn, but yet.
Well, you know, now there's some mighty good ones on the Trogdon side too, you know. Now,
Yeah,
Billy, I'll tell you what he done just lately. He bought a motorboat, and him and his wife and his oldest daughter, her oldest daughter, took it out to boat. She said, on the way back, she said, Dr. Bill said, I knew you ever since I was a little girl, and you've always thought of other people instead of yourself. Said you owned a sailboat, didn't you? And then you went and turned around on a motorboat for the water kids. And that's what way he does, you know. Yeah. He's always been all heart, and he's done that in his medical practice, what's killed him too.
Well, you know, I didn't mean about the stubbornness, it wasn't stubborn on the
McCall side?
no, the Ledbetter,
Well,
because they are, but the
Oh,
Ledbetters are stubborn and they get quiet, they don't argue. Where the Trogdons, they'll try to out-argue,
Outdo you.
and they're, you know, they talk with their mouth.
And, but, yeah, but
Did
both,
that come?
I don't know what he's gonna hook up to it. What are you doing, Uncle Bill?
Well, see, you pull 12 rounds on that thing.
Oh,
See, I've only got a 15-ounce fuse,
Oh,
and I've got the fan and the ice box on it, and that won't pull it.
Oh, I
See the burn
see.
out fuse, so I'm hooking up over here on another socket.
Oh,
Okay.
don't ruin the VCR where you can't run it. We wanted to show them Billy stunt flying sometime.
Well, you don't know who Daddy reminds you of on your
I have-
mailers or?
I would say more or less a Miller. He was, but however, in a way, Miller's is awful slow, and your dad wasn't slow.
Yeah.
And you, they are pokey. And
When you
Like
gonna start
Bernice.
making those copies?
Whenever you're ready for us to.
Okay.
when Bernice that was here, see, Bernice was here the day before yesterday. Oh, and I'll tell you that, I told Billy, I said, Bernice has been here and she never shut up from the time she came till she left. And he said, I know. But, oh, she's slow. She's so slow. She told her little kids, her grandkids, she'd be after them at 3:30. It's 3 o'clock and she had to go to Midwest City and she still hadn't left. So she called and told somebody to look at her when she got there. And she said, when I left, she said, her grandson said, now, Grandma, we get out at 3:30 and you be there. And she said, I told her, okay, but she wasn't there. What's other?
Did she know any of her dad's brothers and sisters?
From me?
Did you know your aunts and uncles?
I knew all of them.
Oh,
I knew
that-
all
yeah.
of them. Aunt Elsie and Aunt Lou. See, I was named after Aunt Lou. And Uncle Roy and Uncle Raleigh. I knew all of them.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Aunt Elsie, she's the oldest.
Mhm.
Well, do you remember her saying it? You know, like that Conger that she married?
Yeah.
And some
Uncle
of
Bill
their,
Conger.
yeah, were they from up around Miami, Oklahoma or something? Did she know
They
them
must have
before?
been, because I'll tell you why. Nellie married, they brought Aunt Elsie and Uncle Will to our house. And then they went somewhere up around Miami to see other friends, so they must have had
They
somebody up
must
in
have
there.
lived there too,
Yeah.
must have, for Elsie to have met him.
Yeah. And I imagine that's it. And then they went to the oil field, and that's what they's doing up in Wyoming was with the oil field, see.
Won't that be better for you to sit back straight and me sit over here?
Well,
You know,
I'm doing
I'll
all
let you
right.
ask for this.
Yeah, you can turn
Well-
that, you can try that, we'll see if it'll carry.
Okay.
Do you know how they got scattered? Your aunts and uncles?
Now, I don't know, actually, I don't, now see, Aunt Lou, they must have all lived up around Pryor because when Mom and Dad got married, they went, I believe, to Aunt Elsie's for Thanksgiving, up around Osage, in the Osage. And Mother never had anything in her whole life, she said, except tin cups and tin plates and that kind of dishes is all they ever had. So Dad bought her a set of nice plates. So Aunt Elsie told her, said, bring your plates. Well, she did. And on the way back, Dad hit the team, whatever he's driving, and they jumped, and she spilled her plates and broke them. And so he went and bought her another set. Dad couldn't stand that, you know. She cried, and he went and got her some more. But she's always proud of everything like that, because she just hadn't had anything.
Well, like, okay, back up to when Jeremiah first come, you know, when he was up around Bonita and Ketchum,
Mhm.
do you know where they went to from there?
No, unless they came down to Chandler, down in there.
And they weren't at Stroud then.
Well, Stroud, yeah, he's over in there, and that's
See-
when he worked for the government, didn't he, Carolyn?
Yeah.
And then he came to Oklahoma City to get supplies for the Indians, and then on the way back's when he got killed.
Okay, did he work for the Sac and Fox?
I don't-
Indian agent, is that where he was working?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Mm-mm.
Well, do you have any idea where he was buried?
And I don't know that either.
Would they have took him back home to bury him, wherever he did?
I bet he was just buried over there, according to where there's a living, I imagine.
But you don't know.
I have no idea, and I bet the grave would be,
Well, they said
Wow.
like around, when the turnpike went through, we went to Stroud one day and we looked at all their cemeteries and everything. And they said when when the turnpike come through, that they dug up
Oh.
cemeteries back then. And, a lot of them they didn't document, you know, if there's two or three out there or, you know, or a little
So they just
family or
plowed 'em
anything. And, some of them they did move and they said they'd lost a lot, you know, coming down through here.
yeah.
So I'll go around Chandler and look one day. You know, their records.
Their
and stuff.
records.
Since Chandler is, I think it's
County seat.
yeah, county seat, isn't it?
I don't know. Probably is. It's the biggest town around over in there, though.
Like Pryor has a book of all the cemeteries in Madison County,
Yeah.
they might have a book.
Well, I've looked and they don't have them. They have like Muskogee and the Northeast District
I mean-
College, but they don't
I mean,
have back
Jim.
over this way.
You know, I could have got a lot, if I'd had any sense when I was young, I could have got a lot of records that I didn't get. Now, Dad, when he was, with us, he wanted to go see this big lawyer downtown. I can't even think of his name. They had a big ranch out on the north side of town, and so Dad and him, he ran off from home because his mother wanted him to go to college, and he didn't want to. So he went off down there and went to work on the farm where Dad was, and they worked together. And Dad said he'd get up on the stump and preach, you know.
Really?
Yeah, and so Dad wanted to go see him. So I called him and I told him who I was and who Dad was, and I said he'd like to see, and he just invited us to come right on down. Oh, Phil, that was a beautiful office. He looked like he's sitting in a king's chair, you know, and everything, but he was so nice to Dad. And they sat and laughed and talked about different things that happened. And see, I don't have none of that down, just in my mind that I was with him. And whenever he got through, he just made it real plain, it's time to go. But he's real nice to us. But Dad was laughing at him and said one night they was going to go to a dance, and they didn't want to go, but he did. But he'd already been drinking so much that he got drunk, so they went ahead and put him in the hack, hooked up the team, and turned right around and unhooked it and put him back in the barn, and he thought he went to dance the next day. He never did know the difference. And they just laugh about things like that. and I always could have, you know, I had something like you girls has got to copy all that down while it's fresh on my mind, you know. But I remembered it because Cargill, his name was Cargill. And now his son is the big guy. But he said, John, I came back home and went on to college and got his degree, and he's a lawyer, big lawyer, you know, and he said, and I'm teach the Bible class out at the Baptist church. And he told us all that like he had now, he may change. But at that time, he's an old man.
Well, tell us about Grandpa working on that round barn.
No, he didn't work on it as far as I know, but that's where he went for square dances and things
Oh,
that
he
they
didn't
had.
help build it, did he?
As far as I know, he didn't help build it, but I've got a picture of it and all of this. I mean, they're redoing it now, because it is a landmark, and they're redoing it. And it was just nearly collapsed, and they got enough money made up to, and they're still, they're redoing it because it is a landmark. And this is in the paper just the other day. Every once in a while, there's an article telling how they're getting along with it, you know.
Well, we've seen it on television, they showed a little bit, you know, about them trying to get enough money to do it, and I hadn't heard any more.
Well, they're doing it, yeah, they're doing it. Another thing, did you kids get you didn't see, Oklahoma Heritage on TV?
Yeah,
Did you see all of that?
not every bit of it, but I seen part of
See,
it.
there's 5 hours of that,
Mhm.
every night, for 1 hour, for 5 nights. And I never missed any of it. That was the most interesting thing I ever saw. And, did you see how Wally Post lost his eye?
Mhm.
And things like that, you know. So then, we've got a paper the Oklahoman sent out, and I tell you, it's thick, and I rolled it up and kept it because I said there's not an Oklahoma history book that's got all that stuff in it.
That's why I didn't like Oklahoma history, because it wasn't told right in the history books when we was going to school.
Well, it's just all dates, and I never
Uh-huh.
could remember
Yeah.
dates.
Yeah.
And it's all, but these are pictures and things like
Stories.
that. And where in the world they got all that stuff to make that tape, I'll never know, because they had stuff that I just never, I'd seen them and heard them, but where'd they get it all? I can't figure that out for 5 hours.
Well, see, that one guy that come from the historical thing up to Tulsa, he brought a film with him that was made 40-something, and it had a lot of footage that during the run,
Uh-huh.
and then they used slides, and it made it look like it was moving almost, you know, that they had taken one picture after another, and it was really neat.
Well, that's, Dad was in this 89 run, you know.
That's what I was gonna ask you about, was that here at, what was the first capital? Guthrie?
Guthrie.
Was that the one he ran in, or was it the one up around,
One that they had lately, 89, was it,
well, see, they had 5 runs.
well, here's the one that came into Guthrie, I guess, because he
Okay,
talked
that's-
about Guthrie so much, you know.
Uh-huh.
And that was where the capital was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, when y'all lived up Osage County, I remember him used to talk about Osage County. Did you just live at Prue? Is that the only place?
Yeah, it's the
at
only place,
Osage?
as far as I know, that's the only place we ever lived, is in, I was born at Prue, they were married, their married license is at Prue, you know. And I don't know if you've got any copy of Mom and Dad's,
Uh-huh.
well, see, I've got that, but it's a certificate of their marriage, you know.
Okay, like whenever Grandpa Jeremiah got killed,
Yeah,
then his wife didn't live a year, did she, or about a
just
year?
about, he said she grieved herself to death, and just about a year she lived.
Okay, then what happened to Grandpa and the kids? Where'd they go then from there, or what did they do?
I don't know. Well, the girls was married before Grandma died.
Oh, they
The girls
were.
were married because in this family picture I've got in there shows the Aunt Elsie and Aunt Lou and their little kids, you know,
Oh, I see.
in this family picture I've got. And Dad just, well, one, I don't know who was it lived up in Idaho, I think, Aunt Elsie or Aunt Lou, and he went up there and worked something.
Do you know where in Idaho?
I don't have any idea. I just remember him telling about it and how cold it was, and the snow would get up over the fences, and they'd get in a sled and go just straight across the country to dances, you know.
Over the fences.
Oh, right on top over the fences. Snow was high, and that was up in Idaho.
Now, I can vaguely remember him talking about that, you
Yeah.
know. Where was the other boys whenever he was up in Idaho?
I don't know unless they. Well, see, Dad was getting older. Dad was, I think, 34 when Mom and him was married. See, so the boys was probably married.
So
Well,
about-
yeah, I know he was because he's living with one of the girls.
So 14 years there from the time he was 19, then wasn't he about 19 when his dad died?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, well, I was thinking it was 18, but he's engaged to get married. I was thinking it was 18, but maybe he was 19.
Well, when he was, you know, from when he was 19 until he went to Idaho, you don't know how long he stayed up there, do you?
Mm-mm.
So you
Okay.
don't know those about 14 years there.
Yeah, he done
You don't know
different
what he
things.
was
I don't know what he
at.
done. Mm-mm.
Well, Uncle Vern, he was telling me that he went to Texas and cowboyed down in there.
Well, he cowboyed some somewhere.
Do you remember him saying anything about going to
Not
Texas?
I don't remember, but I tell you what he told me, how to keep the snakes from getting in your bed, you know. They put their lariat rope around the bed and the snakes wouldn't crawl over that hairy rope.
Well, isn't that something?
I remember that.
How did your mom and dad meet?
I have no idea. You
Where
don't know
did they meet?
Well, it must have been around Prue because Grandpa and Grandma Miller lived around there too. When we lived there, they lived, and then they went and bought their place and moved down there where Buster is now, you know. And we went one summer in the covered wagon down there to see Grandpa and Grandma before Dad went back and bought
Oh,
them.
you remember that then?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was
Did you
yeah. It
have
was
fun?
2 days in the covered wagon. We first went to Shodo, cause Uncle Walter lived there, and we stayed all night with Uncle Walter, and then the next day we went to Grandma's,
Oh.
clear over there to Locust Grove.
Did you think you was ever going to get there?
Well, us kids had so much fun. I can't remember. Only thing I remember, they make us get up the next morning. We didn't want to. So we could go, and it rained, and we thought that was so much fun to be in that covered wagon. It rained.
Did y'all move in a covered wagon then?
Drink that water, honey.
Okay.
You'll be wondering what's happening now. Go ahead and drink it.
You be
Well, do you need to lay down or anything too? Do
No,
you
I'm not
down
gonna
in
lay
bed?
down, but I'm gonna drink some of this
Okay.
water shut my mouth.
You need to lie down now, don't get that.
Now, she usually lays down about
She
mid-morning,
lays
okay?
down
You
about
do
an hour and a
that.
half
No.
in the afternoon, see?
Well, Lila, you just leave me alone. I'm just, as long as I'm not on my feet, I'm all right.
Well, go ahead and drink the water. I know what'll happen if you don't drink that water.
What'd you find out down at the drugstore? Nothing?
In fact, it could be.
Bran tablets that I've been taking, and Billy had me to get on, you know, and they said that they never did have them, but I know better 'cause I got 2 or 3 bottles down there.
Now, mother, that old lady down there is the one that said she didn't think you ever did, but I got a hold of the stock lady who wanted to buy stuff, sell stuff, and she said the fact you couldn't bill me.
Okay.
Just canceled it out.
Well, I went out to the health store and got some. Billy told me not to go to the health store because they'd rob you, but it wasn't much more because I get 350 tablets for $7, and the other one I got 250 for about $3, so it wasn't that much difference. And I can't run my legs off hunting stuff just to save that much
Right.
money.
You want me to
Well,
put
you
you
wanna-
on, see if
go
it'll
ahead.
pull?
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Go
I'll
ahead.
turn
You
this
want
on,
to go
see if
ahead.
it'll,
Go ahead.
see if it'll operate. You don't have to do nothing now, just turn it
Go
on,
ahead
see
and
if
ask me
it'll
some
pull.
more questions, Carolyn.
Does she not, do you know why Grandpa come to this area?
Yeah.
You already told us a while ago, didn't you?
Which area?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, to Pryor.
Yeah. Well, no. They never did live in Pryor. Mom and Dad didn't.
I mean, Locust Grove, yeah, in that area.
Yeah, I know why they moved there. They bought this farm down there, Dad did. And, where, well, the old home place, they bought that. Dad moved with the wagon and he put Mama on the train with the kids and we came down on the train. That's when I was telling you about these guys getting Torrance's cap. We was on
Oh,
the train
yeah.
stayed all night in Muskogee. And Mama didn't know anything, but these two guys found out what she's doing, and they took her to a hotel and looked
Yeah.
after her and helped her get 5 kids. See, she
Mm-hmm.
didn't have ours. She didn't have Vern. Ours was the baby then when we left there.
Do you have any parents of your grandparents that or any of your aunts and uncles? You already said you did, didn't you?
If a what?
You had any pictures of your grandparents and aunts
Grandpa
and
and Grandma and them? Yeah, some I have some. Now, when do you want my book to copy, honey?
Yeah, that's why I got.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
I want to see if that copy's good.
Yeah, we'll have to, these damn pictures.
She wants to know what it was like you, the only girl, until Iris was born.
Fight all the time. See, like I said, I had Howard and Torrance and Lawrence.
Then you had old Millers.
Well, I had all the Millers. I never did fight with them, but I tell you, your dad and I fought constantly, and that's why we had to quit school. Nearly
Why
cause,
you had to quit school?
well, we'd fight all the way to Locust, and then we'd fight all the way back, and when we'd get home fighting, Dad said, I'm gonna make you kids quit going to school.
Did
Yeah,
you,
we went
you
2
didn't
years
actually
to
fight,
Locust.
you just griped at each other,
Well,
right?
everything I got, if I get a new pencil, he tried to take it away from me.
They pester you.
Yeah, pestered me. And one time we came along in the buggy and here a snake went across, and I was always so scared of snakes. And he got out and run and got that snake by the tail, and here he come with it at me. Well, when he did, I just turned the horse loose and ran off and left him. And he was hollering, "That's what he done! That's what he done! Wait, wait!" And it's just like that all the time. But I tell you, hey. One time when Aunt Elsie, I told you Aunt Elsie and Uncle Will came to see us, we was all picking cotton over there. Do you know where the McCollough barn was, over there, where Mom and Dad, where Mother died, where Mother died? Well, she died, we was working just across the fence from that, picking cotton. Or hoeing maybe, I don't remember. Anyway, on the way home, here, somehow or other, Howard come after me. He was gonna get me. He was just running, Lawrence was behind us, and he hollered, "Do you know Whit and Lizzie Brannon?"
Yeah.
He said, they fought all the time. Everybody knew in the country they fought. And so he called, Lawrence said, "Run, Lizzie, Whit's a-coming." And then he turned on Lawrence, and Lawrence had to go cut through the field and get home, keep getting beat.
Didn't it darken light? Thank you for getting lighter. But these are pretty damn pictures, aren't these old ones here? See, that's those. That's not too bad.
tell anything about them.
Do you think that's too dark or?
No, I think that's good.
fine.
Here, this,
Okay, okay.
see, this is Dad. This is my dad. And this is,
His mother, isn't it?
that's Grandma, right there. This is the twins right there. No, we're all in, I don't know
Oh,
which
yeah.
is which, but that's the
It's
twins.
got Raleigh and
Roy.
Roy. Mhm.
And this is Aunt Lou here. This is Aunt Lou, and this is Aunt Elsie over here.
And that's Grandma up there then.
Yeah.
And she's little.
Yeah, that
Who
was
do
her
you
right
think favors her?
I don't know.
She's got a little round face,
Mhm,
doesn't
a
she?
little round fat face. The Millers are like that, you know.
Mhm.
This done better, didn't it? That one.
Uh-huh.
That's good.
Judy, she'll have to go make right.
Okay. Oh, who's that?
That's what,
Is that Grandma? Now, who's this?
you need going right.
These are Dad's playmates.
Oh.
I don't know who they are, but this was Dad's pictures. And these little girls he played with in Missouri.
Well, isn't that something? That'd be something if that was some of his kinfolks, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, they were,
But they
I think
were-
they were just friends.
Okay, I'll write on that.
You know, yeah, it says was our friend. Says I was thrilled to have a little sister. You know, I just worship that ours. In fact, I just feel yet, you know, she just really,
That's good, isn't it?
that's also good, yeah.
I'm doing that again.
I'm glad I wrote this on these. Hadn't got Cecil too good, but you can tell that.
This is better, I redid that one.
She redid that one.
Oh, yeah. See, these were Mother's pictures that I got, what I got. Poor little Uncle Roy, he got, see, his wife died and left him with his two little kids.
Mhm.
And his wife, Mother, was in Arkansas, and that's how he got down there. Did you know that?
Yeah, down, I'd heard that, but I'd forgotten. it.
She
You
told
said
him
that.
if he'd bring the kids and come down there, that she'd help him take care of them. And he never did get out. He married that old maid, Ellen, you know.
Mhm.
That's,
Now, this is his first wife, or
no,
that is her?
that's Aunt Elsie.
Oh, okay.
That's Aunt Elsie that lived in Casper. I got her picture. She probably copied. You know, they may have one of it in the newspaper.
Now, was this blank? Yeah, it's blank, isn't it?
That's, yeah, I thought that's probably more. We sure need these to go.
Uh-huh. Now, which one's Lawrence? I'll put a little check by him, so we'll know.
This is Lawrence up there.
Oh, you have it written there. Okay, and up here.
Let's see what this is here. Lawrence Trogdon and his schoolmates. That's him right there.
Well, I'll be. I'll just put, so I can see that's him. Who's some of the others, maybe might
Well,
know
I'm not
some of
real
them.
sure. I was looking for Housley, Bruce Housley, because they play basketball together. He could tell you right away, but I just. Now this boy was a cook. His name was, Stanley Cook, I believe his name was. But you see what a handsome guy he
Mhm.
was. I just don't know.
You know, this kinda like Johnny when he was about 6 years old.
Yeah, that's Vern, ours, and Bernice, and Lori. I told you Florine was coming back, I mean, her daughter's coming back. Connie wants to see her family. Those are good. I can see why she made a copy of these.
Well, would you care if I like borrowed that one and go ahead and have a blowed up
No.
like that one?
No. Just take it out and do it. Oh, I
'Cause
bet that would really be good.
I
wouldn't it?
bet would be.
These ones are Vern, they wanted us to have those copies too.
Would you care if we took some?
Any of them, no, any ones you want to take and get copies on. Which one of ours?
She said in this wagon, and here's another good one. Yeah, he looks so young, he looks like
Who
he
is
is.
that? Is this Grandpa here? Right there?
No, that's,
It's got Dad Trogdon, Vern, Torrance, and Lawrence.
yeah, I guess that's Dad. Dad never did look old,
He
see?
looks like one of the kids.
Yeah,
there.
see? But his hair was black and it always hung down, you know, kind of.
Well, it looks like it now that.
Yeah, that was him in the circle. See how little Vern is, you know?
Mhm.
Lawrence and Torrance, Howard's not in there. And that's not Howard, you know, that's not
Mhm.
Howard. So, here's Howard there, and this is Torrance, this is
Oh, he had his hat on, didn't
This
he?
is our, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
is that him there? No,
That's
that's
Vern,
it,
and
Vern.
ours and Melinda.
Well, now we don't want you standing up, or
Yeah.
do you need to lay down?
No, he tell me to lay down, he's running around boss.
See, I already took pictures.
Which one was it you wanted to take out now, Carolyn?
I'll wait until she
Oh,
copies them
okay.
all, and then we'll. I don't think we got any, do we? See, that one I have. That's all. Okay.
Did you get,
She wants to know why Lawrence and Torrance's names are so much alike.
well, that's a real cute story. Whenever Lawrence was born, his name was Torrance to start with. And he tried to call Lawrence his name. He tried to call him Torrance. He tried to call him Torrance, you know. And so mother just named him Lawrence.
Oh,
That's how come he's Lawrence.
Did you start at an early age helping with chores?
Gosh, yes, I put a cotton sack on my back when I was 10 years old and never did get it off. Yeah, I had to, when I got married, Dad said he lost his milkman lady. He had to start milking. I always had to work. I can't remember when I did.
Did Howard Trogdon help at an early age? with
Yeah, Howard,
chores?
we all worked.
Did Grandma Effie, did she ever say anything about being the oldest of all those kids, how she felt? Or?
Yeah, well, she didn't say how she felt, but she see, Grandma had one kid more than Mother did after Mother got married. She had twins when Howard was born. Jack and John was, and Mother tried to raise, I was talking about that the other day. I said, I kind of resented that Mama had to practically raise two bunches of kids. And see, she tried to take care of Grandma's house. She tried to, and she done all the sewing for Maddie, and she done the sewing for Clara, and she done made the boys' shirts, and she just took care of two bunches of kids, cause Grandma couldn't even cook. She couldn't make decent cornbread.
I remember when I was about 12, going over there, they wanted me to go home with them. Her and Buster'd been on the house. I didn't want to, because, you know, I always lived out on the prairie, and I wasn't used to those crickets and all that holler at night, and I didn't like that. And they said, oh, you'll hurt Grandma's feelings, but don't go home with them. So I went home with every night when it got dark, you know, all them noises, the wolves, and everything, and I'd start crying, I wanted to go home. So by Wednesday, Uncle Buster, he'd tell me, he said, you're not going home till Sunday when they catch you. So by Wednesday, you know, I had a toothache, had a stomachache, he still wouldn't take me. And he said, I'm taking you home and you're never coming back down here again.
He
So I
got
didn't-
rid of you,
They
huh?
never did ask me after that. but-
Well, I'd go over there and stay a whole week. And I'd clean house all week long. So Mama made me quit. She says it doesn't do any good. You go
Oh,
back
that's
again, it's the same way. And she made me quit going over there working hard and cleaning house all week, trying to help.
I can imagine, you know, the boys.
Yeah, they
Didn't care.
just, they decide. But the boys, Jack and John, was really close. And the boys used to laugh about if they went to stay all night with one of them, they had to sleep with both of them. They wouldn't sleep separate.
Well, then Grandma probably worried a lot about Grandma Melody.
Oh yeah, she took care of her. And then after Grandma got sick, why, Mom would go there and stay a whole week. And I'd have to do the work. And I know finally I got where I'd cry when she left, 'cause boy, I had all that bunch at home to take care of and all the cooking to do and look after them, you know. And she'd come home on weekends and kind of
Got catch up.
catch up and then you'd go back, you
Well,
know.
what was wrong with Grandma?
I don't even remember what's wrong with her talk.
You probably didn't know at the time.
Probably didn't know then, just sick, you know, and Mom just have to help.
Mom, have you seen that one?
She might be going through change.
Yeah, I don't even know.
You seen this one?
Oh, isn't that cute? Vern said, walk right, I'd rather have one like that. Harvey came by today
Oh,
with
he
the two
did.
kids.
He
And
did.
Carolyn, her fifth husband came too.
Who?
Yeah.
Carol.
You know, Walter Ray's wife.
And you mean she's had 5 husbands?
He said this is their fifth one.
Hmm.
And, anyway, he said he's doing real good and they're all working for this chicken farm over in Arkansas.
Well, Harvey, no,
Said Carol's husband seemed like a real good guy. He was a truck driver. And then
What's his
Harvey,
name?
I don't know, I didn't ask.
Harvey is Lawrence Burns' grandson, isn't
Uh-huh.
he? He's doing all right.
He said he acted like he's real crazy about his 2 little kids.
Hmm.
And, he acted like, you know, he was real tickled to see him and everything. And he said that's one thing, you know, Harvey hadn't got on drugs or
Nothing, he's still,
alcohol, you know, so he was real glad for that.
wonder if he looked like Walter Ray.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does, We seen him at Vernon, Joyce's 40th anniversary. They had a 40th anniversary for him. Was it 40th? And that he came then, but then he was probably 16 or 17 at that time. And he said the youngest one of Harvey's little one has curly hair and
Like Grandpa.
light complected, but the older one is dark complected.
But I imagine Vern felt pretty proud that Harvey
Uh-huh.
brought him so he could see him.
Uh-huh.
Well,
And I see Nancy every once in a while.
Do
know,
ya?
I seen her at the library, about 3 weeks ago.
how's she
and
doing?
She's doing
Is
pretty
she
good.
still working?
No, she's quit
Has
right
she?
now, and she was on a part-time deal to begin with, but she worked most of the time, and, so she's, they hadn't needed her lately.
When
And-
I was down there the last time, where she had come by to go see about a job or get a job or something like that.
Well, she said
And she
does
left
a-
the little boy with Vern and Joyce.
She said she told me she wasn't really wanting to find a job. She was looking at her husband wanted to, but she wasn't really wanting to. He's into horse racing now.
Oh, is he? Does he ever come out to Oklahoma and race his horses? They probably go to Claremore to do it.
Well, Claremore doesn't get to race since, you know, they've had such a big deal that they haven't even been open. I don't even think they got to race this, last fair days even. They was having such a deal over it.
Yeah, I know.
So-
See, Oklahoma City. Do you think he comes out here? They probably don't.
I don't think he wanted
Well,
to.
does she come, Nancy?
No, I don't think so, She stays at home, I think. Well, I shouldn't have said that, you know, but.
Well, at Vern, he has, all of his kids, I guess, though, are doing pretty good.
Well, he said Betty Lou's working 3 days a week.
Oh, is she work? She
And-
works for IRS, didn't he say, or what was it?
No, she works in nursing home.
Oh, she does.
Joyce works for,
Oh, it's
not IRS, but,
income tax.
H&R Block, yeah.
Oh,
income
yeah,
tax.
an H&R.
And he said that Sherry, is she the youngest? Cheryl and Sherry. Sherry's the oldest. Okay, she's not working right now, but you know, she has the two and the one that had cancer when she was born, the baby. Oh, you didn't? Well, she had cancer, I think under her arm when
Is that
the
Joyce,
left hand
Joyce's
granddaughter.
granddaughter?
And, anyway, she's doing okay now. They give her chemotherapy and radiation and everything, so she's doing okay now. But, Cheryl works at a grocery store over there at Shodo, and, she said whoever's not working's got all 3 of the kids. Cheryl has 1 and Sherry has two and Cheryl has 1. But said they're all together, said Betty has them, she's got them all 3, and said when they come up here, said never know how they're gonna leave or who's coming.
Lord Vern said that. Yeah, they nearly drive him crazy. I've never seen his house now, how much.
Well, he's
since
got a
his-
lot more room
Yeah,
now.
he's got a bigger house. I've never seen that.
If I'd have thought we could have filmed him before we came.
Yeah.
It's such a quick deal.
Well, they got
what it is.
VCR then, I was sending
Yeah,
them.
yeah, we can take some of all of them and send you.
Yeah, I'd love to have.
You'll have to, that Trogdon reunion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna go that Trogdon reunion.
Are you? Well,
Nothing happens.
get me a VCR, 'cause see,
Okay.
that's why we have a VCR, is our grandkids and our great-grandkids, and we don't ever get to see them, see? So, they said, Grandma, if you had a VCR, we'd make you a tape, and JB came, I said, go give us a VCR. And what have we got, 8?
You got a tape.
One of them that, Loretta's baby, I send them to JB because he doesn't have a camera. And they don't send him tapes, they send them to us, so I mail them to him. So he's got Loretta's right now, he hasn't sent it back. But he finally sent JB, Billy's back of his aerobatic stuff.
She said, what do you remember about Grandpa Miller?
He never said nothing.
Really?
Grandpa Miller was just a little old short, fat guy. You know, Grandma's tall. He's a little old short guy. You can tell that in his pictures. He never. Only thing he ever said to me made me so mad at him. But you know, I always believed you're supposed to sweep the floor. You know, that was one of the things that Mother was really particular about, keeping the floor swept. Well, he was eating. You know, I got the broom and I was sweeping that kitchen floor. I'm sure it was a mess or I wouldn't have. He got after me for sweeping the floor and getting that dust up in his plate. And I never did forget that. That's the only thing that I really remember about him. But Grandpa didn't, I never heard much out of him. He didn't do much talking.
What do you do for a living?
Farm, all I know is he farmed. He made molasses up in Prue, did they tell you that?
I remember him talking about molasses and cornbread and sometimes.
Well, he made molasses when they lived at Prue. Grandpa had a molasses mill and they raised cane and made molasses and sold it. But he never did have one, as far as I know, at Locust.
I remember one year Daddy said that they got starved, but they really did about starve. About all they had was molasses and cornbread, and I think he said that Grandma and Grandpa gave him something, but I don't remember what he said.
Well,
tried to
might
help
have been
'em
fruit. They
out.
had an awful big orchard.
Grandma and Grandpa did.
Yeah, they had a big orchard, lots of fruit, so that might have been what it was.
That might have been what it was, yeah.
Cause Grandpa didn't have any teeth, never did have any. I think he got some, but he couldn't wear them. So he'd get his apples out, you know, they had apples, and he'd take him a knife, and I could see him scraping his apple so he could eat it. That's the way he eat it.
What do you remember best about Grandma Miller? Lots of things.
She was never, in my mind, Grandma Miller never grew up. She's just like a kid.
She probably got married so young. that
Well, I
she-
don't think she's very old, 13 or something like that. And then she turned around and had 15 kids. And
You
she,
reckon to kind of get out of reality and she just had fun.
I guess,
No.
because, and Dad, my dad and her, every 4th of July, we had lemonade and ice cream, and her dad has always have ice fights and put on it, and she just had the most fun. Grandma just played like a kid as long as I can remember, as long as she's able to.
I remember the last Thanksgiving, I remember Claire and Buster and all them, and Grandma came up to our house. It's either, I think it's Thanksgiving, anyway, we'd got through eating, and she told us to go out in the front yard and like nothing's wrong. Well, Grandpa had already went out and laid on the cot, you know, he always took a nap after
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Well, she went out the back door and come around and threw a bucket of water on
She done him that way.
And he
all-
got so mad.
She always done him. She always done him that way.
You
She
know, of
always
course, we
picked
thought
on
it was
that.
funny, because, you know, we wouldn't dare done something like
No.
that.
And she was just like that. She just liable to pour water on anybody. I always had the feeling she never grew up. Never grew up.
She didn't miss her childhood, huh?
Yeah, she just had kids. She told me that, well, I had so much trouble when my kid was born, and she told me that she could have slept through when those twins was born. Could have slept through it. So evidently it wasn't anything to her to have children, you know.
And so she didn't.
Well,
probably
she's
didn't-
long, tall, and skinny, and she had them so fast, she didn't get over one and she had another, you know, so evidently it wasn't much trouble.
Where did you meet Uncle Bill?
Well, I'll tell you for sure, they came out from Arkansas, and they rented,
Don't tell anything bad, because it,
when they came out there, they rented a house in town, but they had also leased this farm. Did you lease it, or did you just rent it? The Carney place.
I don't know.
But anyway,
Anyway, we lived there, that's all.
every morning, him and Bill and Bert would be going out to the farm to work, and they'd meet Howard and I going to school. And Bert told me that Bill said, "I'm gonna marry that girl." And I never had seen him, met the guy, just on the way back and forth. Then when they moved down at see, they lived down in a low place, just right close to the schoolhouse, you know. And of course, he came over there too. And Mama didn't like him. She wanted me to marry this old Earl Warder, you know. Well, I got mad at him, and I wouldn't have had him in the sack of anything. And so it went on and on. She liked Earl. And
What happened to Earl? Did he
I
become
have no
somebody?
idea whatever happened to him. One time Bill's stepmother was going to tell me about him, and Mr. McCollough stopped her. So I never did find out what happened to him, but I
What do
tell
you
you.
mean stepmother, honey?
Well, Addie was your stepmother.
Oh, that's a long time after that.
You're not staying up. But anyway, she started telling me about Earl, and Mr. McCollough stopped her.
I was gonna say, you got
And, but I would kind of think he might have got in jail. I don't know.
Who,
Oh, really?
I don't know. I just guessing.
who got in jail?
Earl.
What did you do, Joey?
I don't know, honey. No, as far as I know, he never drank. But we was pretty young then. I don't know in the later years what he done.
She didn't know. You made the tape, Earl. She didn't know that. She didn't know that.
Well, how'd y'all come to Oklahoma City? Did you get a job here? Is that why y'all came, or you came and then
No,
got a job?
I got transferred from Burbank County,
Burbank?
Shiloh.
Oh.
Up in northern part of the state. There, yeah.
Yeah, it looks almost like you there. Not particularly, probably.
There's quite a few in that new conference center.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a take this out.
Let me turn that off for a minute. Turn it turned off. Oh, well. What did you think of Oklahoma City when you first come here?
Well, the first time I saw Oklahoma City was when Bill and I got married and went through here in 1928. And we went out on the old Highway 66, went right in front of the Capitol. And we went out to Visay, and that's where we stayed all night, first night. And when we was married and made all this trip to Border, the hotels, you had to use a slop jar, and there wasn't any restrooms on the way. No filling stations had a restroom, so you had to manage.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was kind of embarrassed, but you know, you learn fast. Then when we moved to Oklahoma City in 1931,
We came here for 3 days. In 1931, we're still here.
Oh.
Bill did. I didn't.
Yeah.
He left me in Scheidler, and he went to work down here, and I stayed up there by myself. Finally, I told him, you just get me a place to stay, 'cause I'm coming down there. He said, well, I haven't been transferred yet. And I said, I don't care. So he came, and we just rented this house and went up and got our furniture. And we never did go back. We've been here ever since 1931. JB was, well, he was born in September, and he was, that was in the spring, so he wasn't very old. Cried all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got an apartment, and we couldn't stay there because he kept the neighbors awake. And we got another apartment, and kept the neighbors awake. And finally, Bill just went and rented us a house and moved, got our furniture and moved.
Did he send you to calm down then?
JB was always, no,
He was
it
there.
was always really, and he's still high strung. He's always high strung. But he's retiring next week. They're having a big retirement dinner for him. I'd love to go. He said, well, you can come, Mother. You know, whatever.
You know, Daryl Trogdon when he's little, looks like he does when he's older, does he?
Yeah.
He looks the same all the time.
He was a good kid, but he had an awful lot of problems to get marrying, you know, and everything, but he was a good kid. See, when did you know that Jewel has Alzheimer's disease?
No, I didn't.
She don't know anything.
That bad name already.
Yeah, Lawrence told me the other day that Joanne said, well, I go over there because I can't do any different, you know, to see her, but she doesn't realize she's even coming over there.
No,
But she's having a lot of problems.
Home yet, or is she in the home?
As far as I know, she's still in her home, as far as I know. I didn't go see her, but because I never was around Jewel much, they married after I was married and gone, but Iris went to see her when they was out there.
Did she know her then?
Well, yeah, she knew Iris then, but that's been several years ago. Because we didn't go the last trip we made out there.
Now, you knew Vincent was dead, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's cute.
And Lee.
Yeah. We went to Fred's funeral at Tulsa.
Oh, I didn't know Fred died.
Oh, you did?
Uh-uh. I knew that he was having a lot of problems, but I didn't know he died.
You know when he died, Melinda, Fred Miller? Joyce and I went to his funeral last fall sometime. And Timmy, Clara's boy, and his wife, and her daughter, Paul's son, they were just gonna play a record, and it was at a funeral chapel, and there wasn't 20-some people there all together, you know, kinfolks there singing. So he said, you know, 'cause Timmy, you know, he was always looking after him anyway.
Well, Bernice
And-
says he works all the time in his church,
Uh-huh.
him and his wife.
And, so he said, you know, he wanted him to have more than that, so they sang, and all they sung, you know, they sing so pretty anyway. It was
Him
so
and his
nice.
wife.
Uh-huh.
He is such a nice looking fellow, wasn't he?
He was.
I saw
He
him,
was.
he wasn't
Kind of
married.
reminds me of Vincent, really.
He wasn't married when I saw him, but we got an invitation to their wedding when they got married in Tulsa, but we couldn't go. But, I met him then, and he was a really nice guy. But Bernice says that they got a beautiful home, and
Mm-hmm.
they're really nice. She sees them. He stops once in a while, she says.
Yeah, I think he sort of likes to, you know, he likes to look after his,
Family.
yeah, he's real good. Mary Ann, you know, she's such a,
Is that his wife?
no, that's his sister,
Oh.
Claire's daughter. She's
Oh.
such a pretty girl.
Oh, she was. I saw her.
And then
She's-
her daughters are pretty.
Are they pretty too? Yeah, well, I thought all of Clara's kids were good
They
looking
are,
kids. Every one of them. The older boy, you know, he was a minister, and they were living in a trailer house just west of Clara up there. And we went up there to their house one day. Ours and I did. Did you go to Maddie's funeral?
She had a real nice funeral. She had lots and lots of beautiful flowers
Did she?
there too in the funeral home.
Was it in Locust?
Yeah, it was in Locust. Anyway, the church, it was full, you know. She had lots of pretty flowers. I was trying to think if Kim and them sang at her funeral. I can't remember. At Maddie's, did Kim and them, they didn't, did they? Oh, I know what it was. He arranged her flowers, the casket flowers, and he helped
Yeah,
he used to
Undertaker.
work for the flower lady, the flower shop.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
on high
They're
school.
in Locust.
So he came and helped her with the flowers. And
Mhm.
she had a beautiful arrangement on her casket. And, well, all of them weren't they? All those flowers. This might seem odd sounding, but that was the prettiest bunch of flowers I've ever seen at any funeral. They done most of them, I guess, and they did such pretty arrangements.
What did you say about Nancy's husband? I didn't understand very good.
Oh, I don't know anything.
Why'd he want her to go to work? So she could help him finance his horses?
Yeah.
That's about the way it goes.
Bernie said he thought that he was kind of getting in trouble over his horses, you know, putting in more money than he's getting out.
Yeah,
of
that's
them.
exactly, that's
Uh-huh.
what you get into. Anything, car racing or anything you get into it, you know. Kinda like Ann Landers this morning was telling about her husband's hobbies. Telling you, she told what months he done everything, just fished and hunted, and she said she'd like to go somewhere, but they never had the money for her to go anywhere. He used it all and told what all he bought.
Now, do you honestly care if we take some and have them blown
No.
up? Okay.
It tells who they are, doesn't it, or does
Yeah,
it?
it does.
So I know
What
where they.
will it, on the back tell also? No? Get me right on the back?
We've got the copies.
Oh, okay.
We've got, we can tell that one.
Who's
Get me
that?
go, this is Howard, Dorsey, and Thorns.
Oh, that one, yeah,
Uh-huh.
go ahead.
Right on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so she'll know when she gets there.
Yeah, yeah, so I'll know where they belong. I'm gonna look in that box in there directly and see if I can find that one of JB and Bill and maybe.
That's
But
a
you
good
know, I
one
was
of
telling,
Bernice.
huh?
That's a good one of Bernice there.
Yeah, that's a real nice one. I was gonna tell you,
You know, I
Is
kinda
that-
hate to take it out,
What?
this one here,
It won't hurt.
but if it turns out good, you want me to have you another one made? If it's, you know, sometimes the ones we've had made has come out better than the picture.
Yeah, I'd like to have a better one, and whatever it costs,
Okay.
I'll be glad to pay it.
Well, it won't be very much from what we send them to, huh? I think, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you about that picture of Mom and Dad and me, that baby picture, and I had Browns to restore it, cause it was tore, you've seen it in there, it's tore half in two. And I thought they done such a good job, and, Irish one, she offered me $50 for mine, and I said, oh, no, they won't get. But I went on out to Brown's, and they said, well, they keep those negatives the whole year.
Oh,
So it only cost me just not hardly anything to get the second one. And now I just kick myself all over for not having burned and all of them one made. But I just didn't, at that time, think about it. When I was working all the time, like, well, you just don't, you
busy,
just run
yeah.
out of time.
Well, I'm not working, but I seem like
Don't have
Joyce, she
time
called
either.
me yesterday, she said, Carol, I just can't get nothing done. I said, well, Joyce, I'd already discovered that, and she said, I don't know why I can't. And I said, well, we're getting older and slower.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I
I
mean,
don't
that
last
sounds
very-
funny, but, you know, you do really slow down.
I just don't, I can't last long enough to do anything anymore.
Well, like my day, you know, used to I could get this done, get that done, that done. Now it takes me all morning just to do, you know, my normal things. Melinda, what do you think about this and Bernice, Florine, Vern, and that one? Is it, or would you go ahead and just do these?
I wanted that fact. What I'm looking for is maybe Melinda's picture. There we go.
This looks like Vern now, the way he sits sometimes,
this
it's one.
We've
Huh?
got this, don't we?
Yeah, but I said, this looks like the way Vern sits now.
Here's my family.
Well, that's really nice.
That is, on the,
Now, is that last year when they were all here, when you had your family reunion?
here's my family. Grandkid,
Oh,
kid,
yeah.
great grandkid, great grandkid, there's one of them, there's
Uh-huh.
kid, there's another one.
That's good. Real good.
It has Mother Nellie Mead and Aunt Elsie Conger. Is that your mother?
Yeah, my mother, yeah, and then Aunt Elsie's dad's sister, and Nellie is Aunt Elsie's daughter. Now that's when they came down there, and then Nellie and her husband went, I can't remember where, but somewhere else up around Montana, I think, to visit his folks, I think it was.
Mhm.
You may want to copy some of these, Melinda, I don't know. I'll let you see.
That's cute, Audrey and Dan, isn't it? Isn't that beautiful, that long gown from
Yeah.
Audrey?
Where's that round one?
Let's see, honey. Yeah, that's a pretty good picture of it, I
It
thought.
is.
It is, uh-huh. I just don't know which ones to have done, Melinda.
Carolyn, this is Jerry's grandchildren.
Oh, and
They
they
three,
precious.
they live over here, Beth and,
Oh, they do. Melinda.
Oh,
they're the cutest
well, they
kids.
look just alike too.
The grandma, both grandmas, ours and her mother, griped about him making his hair stand up like that, cause
That's
he's
cute.
got curly hair.
Oh, he does.
And just kinda, yeah, and she just had it all stuffed up there like that.
That's cute.
That is.
So she let it grow back out. Yeah, you said you'd have me a picture made like this.
Mm-hmm. Like both of them. Right?
Yeah, I remember that so well, wondered whatever happened to it, you know.
Well, no
Well,
one
what
does
I
be
wished-
sure and.
What I wished is we got Grandpa and Grandma's big picture, whatever happened to that. I
You
haven't-
mean of them?
No.
Oh, you
Trogdon.
mean Trogdon, yeah, that,
Grandpa.
yeah, that would be.
Oh, it was,
Mhm.
I don't know if you ever saw Grandpa and Grandma Miller, cause we had one of them too, but Buster got it.
But it disappeared, somebody stole it, he said.
Oh, it did.
You see, he said that somebody broke in his
Yeah,
house.
I knew that someone broke it, but they got his picture.
Yeah, that's what I understood.
Well, Oma told me, do you know who Maxine used to be done?
Yeah.
That she was a antique nut,
Mhm.
and she wouldn't be surprised she didn't get that just for the frame, you know,
Mhm.
that's what they get it for, cause she had no idea who it was.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, they said they took quite a few of the, and that's what they figured, whoever broke in his house wanted it for the frame, so they
Yeah.
thought it was.
So if Buster got, but I went to Maddie's and I went everywhere trying to find that picture. Cause that's all, it hung right up over ours and my bed. And I'd look and see Grandma was so pretty.
See, 'cause I vaguely remember Grandma Trogdon, because she died on my 6th birthday. When
Is that right?
Uh-huh. And I can remember us going over where they last lived. I
On the
remember,
highway.
Philip and Bobby were planting this little wolf, I think it was made out of pewter, I guess. That's, to think now it probably was, but it's silver looking. You ever see a dog or look
I
like a
don't
wolf?
remember it.
They would plant that and they dropped it and broke it, and I remember Grandma getting on to it.
Yeah.
So I remember real plain right then, and then Joyce and I stayed all night with her when they was living in a 2-story house,
Yeah.
and it might have, Mother said probably whenever Virginia Lee was born. Well, she was handling, eggs up in, I can remember this plain as everything, up in the north room upstairs, and she locked me out.
You mean Mother?
Yeah, her and she let Joyce help her, but she wouldn't leave. Well, see, I
Was
wasn't
that over
about
there in
4
that
years
2-story
old.
house
Uh-huh.
where they lived? Yeah.
See, I probably wasn't about 4 years old.
Yeah.
But I can remember, having a little fit, and she told me to go down and help Grandpa do chores. And when I went down there, it had a turkey that chased me. Anyway, I think it was a turkey. It was big. I think it was a turkey though. Chased me anyway. Well, he come and got me then, and he swatted an old turkey, and he went down and milked. Now that's all I can remember of that. But I. just
Well,
that
when they lived in that house, we was all there, and all the boys, all 4 of the boys, Howard and Torrance and Lawrence and Vern, and Dad was all out in the barn yard, and Dad's big pot, he was laughing, ha 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 ha, and the things the boys is saying. Mama said, "Come here, girls, you want to see why when your dad's happy?" And he is happy with those boys out there, and he's telling all these big tales.
But that's the only 2 times I can really remember Grandma was little incidents that, in your mind, I guess, when you're young. Because we probably didn't see Grandma that much since,
After they moved to look back over the
Yeah.
Locust. Yeah.
because, it's probably too poor to go or something.
Well, they
Yeah.
didn't have, I don't know if you had a
Now,
car
I can
then.
remember Daddy and the boys going, but, as the girl stayed at home when he went over to Grandma and Grandpa. I mean, I can remember them going once and we was wanting to go. So it might have been not too long before she passed away, but I may remember that. And then I remember us going once, and we went, it was probably that same time, we went, we had to go around by, we went by the, prison camp, and Philip and Dale scared us about, they'd get out and get us and all this kind of stuff. And, going over that bridge, Lindsay Mays Bridge, and then we come back by Trogdon, we rode on that ferry going across the river, and that's, that's about all I remember. But I remember Grandma having all those candies, red candies and pretty flowers, I remember that.
Yeah, she always had lots of pretty flowers. See my lily, I've got those tiger lilies out here now, and I begged her to let me have some of those tiger lilies. There's some pretty, and I really value stuff like that, that I've got, that's the way I got it,
My, that's been 44 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah, but I still got them, and I just, but the things that, I've got a lot of things that,
That is cute of Jerry, isn't it?
Yeah, he is an awful cute little boy. Dad, if this is Christine, you gotta take it. Hello? Yeah. Oh, just visiting up a storm.
You want me to help
Oh,
you
my
down there?
nieces are here from prior, and we're just visiting, and we're just taking just a copy, and she's got her copying machine. She's copying my pictures and things. Have you had your graduation? Filled it up, huh?
I'm having to do some of these pretty dark to come out because they're so dim.
That's what these girls is doing. She's got a copying machine here on my table, and she's copying up these pictures and things. She did. Yeah.
What do you think about that? They're on their own.
Did she come with Marty?
I think all of you get a grant
Oh.
them and your group.
The other girl. Yeah. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, but
Going in to see the ground.
but you got another? Well, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's what you told me the other day. Well, that's good. Yeah, well, see, today's Karen's graduation. It's all over, I guess, now, 'cause it's supposed to be 10 o'clock. Oh, Well. That what? Oh, I guess we didn't know about it. Where's it at? Down at? Oh, down that way.
These I thought you'll know tell me which one.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, what?
yeah.
Oh, this is the one. Now we got this.
Yeah, that's the one I had that in.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's what she told me, but it's totally-
Yeah, and I'll call you, Miss
Yeah,
Miller.
that is it.
Okay, honey, bye-bye.
Yeah. And then, Grandma said, "Girl, oh, no." Uh-huh. Now that's Do
And
you
this
want,
was a niece, I went to see her when JB was out, I was out there with JB. Those are both
well,
Lee.
okay. That
No,
one-
this is Lawrence and Lucille, and
and
that's
that's Lee.
Lee and Goldie.
See, now, I never seen him, but I remember who he was, so he was gray headed.
Yeah.
And he looks more like whenever Jacqueline was young
Yeah.
in that picture.
His hair's like mother's, really curly.
That's cute.
That's
Now, yeah. I could go ahead and, there's Bernice. Now you know her, don't you? Bernice, the one
Or
that,
just talk about that.
oh, you know her.
Well, that's Wilson was there.
Yeah, I'll tell you which one's in there. See, that's Bill.
Bill.
He goes,
Mhm.
that's cute. That's a cute thing. I remember when Billy bring his,
Poured it down there?
yeah, and boy, we love for him to bring that for him. Hope he brings it again.
Yeah, well, you know what, Billy's hands has got so crippled up that he can't
Oh, they
hardly,
have.
he doesn't do much with it anymore, but he wants our piano, you know what he's gonna do with it?
Uh-uh.
He's going to, make a player piano out of it. So it cost him, he
Oh.
says, it'll cost me about $2,000, but that's what I want to do with it,
There's
so I
Lonnie.
asked, yeah, that's ours, like, ours, alright, JB, I told JB about it, he says, yeah, he,
You know,
Billy wants it, he can have it.
this picture here, did you want me to have you one made like that one?
No, I got one.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah, I
that's
got
bigger.
one.
Oh,
Five or seven.
Oh,
See,
okay,
that's
then.
one you took and used,
okay.
the one I got in there.
Oh, okay.
And that's all right. But then Browns do a good job, cause see, they took this crack
Well,
out
I
of it.
think, yeah, they did. Sure did.
Copy this one.
Uh-huh. Well,
You may wanna copy one or two of these of our reunion last year. You wanna look at some of them?
okay. I didn't know which one. I'll let Melinda help me decide which one I ought to take and not take of these.
Yeah, you can be
I'd
kind
like to all, half of them, you know, but then I can't really afford to have that many.
No,
You know, you
run
can't,
into,
cause you have to pay for the, you know, if it's just a picture, or you have to have that negative made,
yeah.
then the picture.
After that, the other
Yeah.
pictures don't cost so much after the first one.
Where is Nicky McCollough now? Nicky.
He's down in, I've got his address, but it's down in Georgia somewhere. He's a colonel now.
Oh, he made it a career then.
Yeah, he made it a career. I never see any of them anymore, but I've got all their addresses and telephone numbers, and you know hardly anybody does that.
Mhm.
But I've got them all if I wanted to get a hold of them. Why don't you just lay that up?
Okay, I'll put this one down here for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, on our, see, they had that, soon be 2 years, Thanksgiving will be 2 years. And,
This is
it's a
who
good
I-
thing they did because we've just both went down,
Uh-huh.
really went down since that.
How old do you think Vern was here?
Let me see.
They said they both have some
I'd say he's probably about 4, don't you think?
He looks about like that. Well, that's cute. Lawrence and whenever their kids are little.
Mhm.
I bet that's old Nick, he was on there. isn't he?
Yeah, that's old Nick.
Um,
He wanted Dad one time, he said, Grandpa, put the saddle on old, no, put the seat on old
Oh.
Nick so I can ride him.
what about this one now? that's about like, I remember them bluffing when they left for California, only, you know, a little bit
Lawrence's
older,
folks, Lawrence's
but,
kids.
Remember the day they left, now I can remember that, we was all riding Mig out there under on these peach trees or something out there, and there was an orchard, wasn't there, out there north of the house, the two-story house? There's some peach trees and stuff, and we was riding, he went under those, and he'd get as close as he could and wipe us off, you know, we'd all fall off.
Yeah.
Get back on, and we would take his reins and pull him away from the trees, and he'd go right back under them again, you know, I guess he knew how to get rid of us.
Yeah, they do.
I wanna take this to Grandpa Trogdon, Elsie, and Will Conger.
Yeah.
We might have to bring those that she copied off so you can see where they go. I'll try to write the same thing you have on here, so
Yeah.
it'll match.
I'll know where they go.
Do you need to lay down?
Mm-mm.
You sure?
I'm all right. No,
Now,
I don't.
want to
I
go
never
to
lay
bed.
down till along 2 or 3 o'clock in the evening, and I'm not gonna lay down now because I'm busy. What are you doing?
I was waiting around. Mrs. Fowler had open heart surgery. You know Fowler,
Huh?
the electrician on it.
You mean he did?
Yeah,
Hmm.
he was telling me.
Well, you
When?
went and ruined yourself fixing that lawn, I guess. That's a lot of work. Worked too hard.
Well, I said he had some kind of
Have
dizzy
you ever seen
spell,
this one?
and he went to the doctor, and they put him in the hospital. He had open heart surgery.
I guess he's probably scared of heart trouble since she went like she did so
bet.
quick.
Let me pick those when you go
Probably.
there.
Yeah, but Neil, he's funny. He
It
just
looks like
kind of
your
laughed
house.
about it. I said, well, you won't be playing golf for a while.
Was
Oh,
I
they
out there at
take it
your
about
house?
that serious.
Huh?
Was she out at your house?
Yeah, that's where that
Cause
was
see, that's,
on the
yeah,
porch.
it is.
JB
Yeah,
took
'cause
those,
that's your
didn't he?
deal.
Mhm.
JB took those when he was at our house, didn't he?
All these.
Yeah, I guess he did.
Those are good.
He's a picture nut too, JB
He
is.
takes good ones. Oops, sorry.
He's
He
a,
knows how.
he's a picture nut. Hey, Billy's gonna take us a tape of Karen's graduation, and see, Kevin has bought him a 5-acre tract with a big home on it.
Kevin Hans?
Yeah, and we haven't seen it or anything. Well, even Billy hadn't seen it till now. He's down there now. And we haven't met Karen's boyfriend. They were gonna come up and he's gonna meet us, and then he's gonna go up to Edmond and meet his folks for Karen. And then Karen got the flu and they didn't get to come,
Oh.
so we haven't seen them yet. But he's gonna meet all of them today, 'cause after the graduation, well, they're having a big party out at Kevin's place. And Karen said, Joe, I talked to Joe this morning, she said, that kid just got in yesterday at 2 o'clock and he just worked himself to death getting everything, he wants it sold from all, and he's got a place where they pitch horseshoe, and then he's got Karen rented a badminton set so they can play, and they're gonna have all her friends out there, and so I guess Billy's gonna furnish the hamburgers, so they're supposed to have a big deal. And she said, I told Gary, hope you live through it.
Melinda, did you take all these of Karen Wing walking in this?
I didn't see those.
Clematis, why? Who wants to
Mhm.
know? Clematis vine. Clematis.
Clematis.
Yeah, who wants to
Will
know?
you?
The clematis vine. Tell him that they're expensive, but they're pretty.
Clematis.
Clematis, start with a C.
Clematis.
Tell us some more about Grandma Miller. What you're doing.
Well, I don't know hardly what to tell you about her.
Or your mother.
Oh, my mother.
Yeah.
Oh, my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Best mother in the world. Best mother in the world. She worked hard. One of the, I was thinking about her last night. I'm thinking about my flowers, you know what I have.
Mm-hmm.
She always loved house plants, and she had a pretty good sized table. And it sat right in front of the window, and it's always full. She got everybody to give her a little piece of plant she planted. And if we get in a fight and we get close to that table, we knew that it was time to quit. Because if we broke one of them, we got in bad trouble. And then when we moved into this house, Carolyn, it had these big nice windows. Well, all Mother had ever lived in her whole life was little tiny windows, you know, little tiny windows. And she said that, give her this book here. She's got a box. This is all we took that of our 20, you haven't seen it either. Anyway, Carolyn, Carolyn, when we moved there, we had these big windows, and she said the first kid that breaks the window is going to get a good whipping. Well, of course, you know who broke it? Howard and I.
Oh,
And
dear.
Mama was drying peaches up on top of the house, and Howard and I got up there. And then I told him to get down, he wouldn't get down, so over the window, she had a ladder. And I jerked the ladder down so he couldn't get down, and it went right into that window and just busted it all up. And boy, did we get a whipping. I mean, she don't just whip you whatever she seen. She gets her butcher knife and she goes out and cuts her some big, long switches. And I mean, we get a whipping, we got one. She didn't do that very often. But she never did whip us when she's mad. She didn't bleed and whipping when she's mad.
Oh, really? She waited.
She waited. She never bleed and whipping us while she's still yet mad.
I always just did it when I'm.
Yeah,
when
me
they did
too.
it.
I give Jay the last whipping I give him. And he still remembers it, but we didn't have a lot of money, so they was taking recording lessons. They only had one music stand. They had to share it. Well, JB decided that Billy had most of it, so he kicked it clear across the kitchen. And when he did, I got
We'll have to ask Uncle Bill what he remembers best about you when y'all got married.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I tell you, ask my granddaughter, Angie. All of them got these Mormon weddings, you know. Of course, Val hasn't yet, but the other two girls did. And we told Angie and her husband now came down here, and of course we just told them all these things about us getting married up in that park, East Locust. You knew that, didn't you?
What part?
Secretly, we was married up at Pipe Springs out of Locust.
Oh,
But the reason was, a year before we married, I think it was a year, maybe it's longer than that, why, I broke my glasses, and I had to have new glasses. Well, you know, you didn't go anywhere with your boyfriend without chaperone, so Bill took me to Pryor to get me some new glasses, and we had to take Alma with us for a chaperone. Well, then that was Saturday. Then on Sunday, we went over to Grandma's for dinner. And that night we went to singing. And so they thought we got married, and they shivered us that night. And boy, Bill was the maddest guy you ever saw in your life. He said, I'll tell you one thing, when we get married, you won't shiver us. And that's why we got married secretly.
Oh,
And we was in the car and gone before anybody knew Bill was in the country. But do you remember the Housleys? You may not remember
I
that.
remember.
Alma Housley and Alma was our witnesses, and we sit in the car and the preacher next to us, and we was married sitting in Bill's car, and the girls on each side. And see, Brother Benton was had his blacksmith shop, you know,
Uh-huh.
as a blacksmith. Bert took the car and went back and got the preacher and brought him out there, and we got married, and he took the preacher back, and then he come back and got us.
So nobody had
And
any
nobody
idea.
had any idea that till we was in the car and gone.
It's funny.
And so Angie thought that was so funny. So she said, Grandma, we thought about you and Grandpa. So they was married in the park.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And her and their folks about died. But this picture of them in there, she's got on Lori's. I know that he probably later had the picture made. And I know he rented this tuck, and Angie's got on Lori's wedding dress in
Oh,
this
right.
picture we got.
Mhm.
There, she's something else, that girl is.
What'd they do, go to the church and have her picture made or something?
No, later
Oh.
I get, no, it's in the park. Because you can see, I couldn't figure out the background, but
Uh-huh.
kind of leaves, you know, back in there. No, this picture, and they didn't, she got a photographer. She's a character.
Well, what's Kevin's wife like?
Oh,
like fun?
we love her. Yeah, she doesn't have any, she's adopted child.
Oh,
She
uh-huh.
don't have any brothers and sisters, but she, oh, I got to get in here and. They came up here, Carolyn, around Christmas, and then she came in, she said, I'm gonna cook the dinner. And she wouldn't even use my eggs and things. They went to the grocery store and bought all this stuff, and she completely cooked dinner in our kitchen by herself, and even made a custard pie.
Well,
And then, and she's just real, but she's a barrel racer. She loves horses. Her and Kevin's each got their horse. Kevin never had a horse in his life,
Oh.
and really can't get over it. And,
but then look what all Billy's done, too,
Yeah.
all these different
oh,
things.
everything,
Uh-huh.
yeah, lots of things. But here's Angie, and I was telling you,
Oh, that's good.
yeah,
That's pretty,
see,
isn't it?
see the leaves and things back
Mhm.
in there, you can tell it was made in the park.
That's pretty, though.
Yeah, I thought it was, but that's Lori's stuff. But she thought that was really nice that she got married in the park like Grandpa and Grandma did.
Now, whose husband is this?
No, that's Val. He doesn't
Oh.
have, that's Debbie's
Well, he looks
oldest boy.
different not than
Well,
he used to look, doesn't he?
Yeah, see, he's got that beard,
Uh-huh.
but
No,
see,
it's
he was
changed.
flying. He was flying up in the where it's cold,
Alaska.
and he said that protected his
Mhm.
face from the cold. You know, that beard. I don't think he didn't have. He is here.
Well, who does he favor? He sort of favors.
Some said Billy.
That's what I was
I said
thinking.
Billy. Well, I got a picture.
You know, more than JB, he doesn't favor
Yeah,
JB.
I've got a
at all.
picture. Let's see. I'll see if I can find it. That.
Even right there. the
Billy
mouth
and he's out to
everything
Billy's
sort
here
of-
the other day, and that Jeannie took their picture together, and boy, they look more like father and son than uncle and nephew.
She looks like she's a cut up. Kevin's wife.
Yeah, she's real friendly and nice, and he's so crazy about her. He met her in the. She was in the office where he's flying. You know, he met her. That's where he met her.
Oh, uh-huh. Well, he sure looks like Billy. Well, how's JB and Carol doing?
Just doing all right. He's up there in Utah now with his kids.
Oh, he
Tonight he's supposed to have some hamburgers with Angie and her husband. They've just bought him a big home. It's one of these government homes, you know, that people couldn't pay out when they got it, and it's real big, but you don't have any furniture.
Oh.
She said, I just told them, Grandma, when they come up here, they got to bring them a chair because I don't have any furniture. I said, well, honey, she said, we don't even have a curtain or a blind or
That's
nothing.
cute.
I said, well, the thing is, honey, you can buy what you want, not have to
Uh-huh.
use something somebody else had.
Like Melinda, she didn't get all her furniture at once, and she said she knows what she wants, but she hadn't found it, so she just waits till she
But she
finds what
does.
she wants.
This is what Val was flying when he came down here.
Oh, uh-huh.
Plane.
That looks like World War II.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, really.
It's got on, so Beechcraft D18. Airplanes are pretty, aren't they?
Yeah, I love
They-
airplanes.
they
I can see
something
why my
about
kids
them
are
that-
holding airplanes up their neck. I loved airplanes. I still do. I'd rather watch them fly over than to see cars.
Uh-huh. There's just something fascinating. I like that of JB and Carol that's there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one in the wall up there too.
Oh,
Did you see it on the
uh-uh.
inside?
I'll have to look.
Melinda, what are you doing?
I'll
Reading?
look at it. That's just good.
We didn't get anything. Just a claim there from Dale, said they'd
So
done,
what is it? I've
they'd
done
done
with the
paid it or
sheriff.
something,
Okay.
anyway,
Okay.
news magazine.
So they're living there.
You seen me email to some things. Yeah. Now who's Mildred, Bill, and Dot? Not
Mildred
him.
Dunn?
Oh,
Mildred Dunn.
Mildred Sanders.
Yeah, Sanders.
You know her? Yeah.
See, Melinda, this one, I said,
That's
Harry the
good.
Heart,
That is
you know.
good. That's pretty.
They are such a cute. They came down here and we had such a good visit.
Isn't it pretty? I bet they were on it too.
That's cute. It can be too, isn't it? JB, Billy, Charles, Bobby. He looks like he's as big as the address says.
Now this
Is
look-
that
this-
Bobby
this-
Trogdon or Bobby somebody else?
No, these were our neighbors,
Oh,
and this Bobby was killed in World War II. And then this is Charles, and this is J.B. and Billy.
oh,
See?
well, I was gonna say Billy.
Yeah, this is J.B. and Billy here, and this is Charles, and that's Bobby.
Well, Billy looks like he's as big as them others.
Yeah,
doesn't
he thinks he will. He always thought he
Look
was.
how he's standing up there.
Yeah,
He's so
That's
cute.
so cute.
They run over, Bill, I think, backed over J.B.'s bicycle, and so he made a new, wheel for it. Bill did, and so Charles, his mother told him, said, you quit leaving your bicycle out there, someone will run over it, and he said, Mr. McCollough, make me another.
What do you remember when y'all got married?
That's too long.
Oh, it is. How many years y'all been married now?
It's 61 years in July.
I've seen right there 50, but in 78, but
We married 28, 61 years in July the 19th.
these, a lot of these is getting divorced in 3 and 4 and 5 years, doesn't it? My goodness.
That's ever, no,
Is that down Texas?
no, it's right here.
Oh, oh, Bill's the Billy.
Yeah, that's when it had that big snow.
Oh, it says 87, doesn't it? That's been, we've had a long time, isn't it? You had a lot shovel, didn't you?
That must be your family.
Yeah, that's Dalton Mary Joe. There you are painting.
You painting there, looking on the driveway there.
Somebody mess up your drive? I mean, your
That's when
grass?
back in the big truck going to Concord,
Oh,
that they're all working on.
looks good.
Okay.
What did Bill say he remembered?
Nothing.
That,
Had a long, long, hard road ahead of us. I don't know.
That's good. like big peaches, aren't they?
Yeah, they eat beautiful peaches.
Almost taste them, can't you? Seeing them there, they're so big.
He is the craziest thing about gardens and trees and things, and boy, he's broke down where he can't do nothing. He's sure heart sick.
Pretty. Is that yours? Oh, were they? Yeah, you just barely see right there, can't you? She's cute too.
That's the girl, great granddaughter.
She's cute.
That's just walking down.
Dad, when we get ready to eat, just set up the card table, and we won't have to move any of this.
Okay.
Well, how's Aunt ours doing, Aunt Dorothy?
She's breaking. She don't let on, but she's breaking. She can't be what she used to. She still works like a she keeps all of her yard and trimmed all them poodle trees. I forgot how many she's got, and just works all the time.
How old is she now?
She's 9 years younger than I am, and I'll soon be 80. So she's 50 odd.
69.
Did Bill tell you how long we've been married?
61 years.
Will be in July.
So she was 8 years old when you all got married.
Yeah, she see, and she cried, you know, and she said, oh, don't go, you will never have to wash another dish. She thought, see, she was real ornery. One night, the only time I ever touched her, one night Mama told me, said, tell Iris to dry the dishes for you. So I said, Mama's milking. I said, Iris, Mama said you dry the dishes, so she kicked me on the shins. And I busted her one, and she cried, and then I couldn't understand it because I made her cry. But, yeah, she was just a little, she had this pretty curly hair, and you know, Mother could never do anything with those curls. And I could just roll them around my fingers and make them look real pretty, because I guess I've just always been used to hair, liked hair, you know. I always liked to take and make curls on Mama's hair. You roll Mama's hair around a pencil and pull it out, and she'd just have curls all around, you know. Anyway, I went to the hole one day, and Mama wanted to do something to them curls, and I come home, she cut them all off, and I just about died because she cut Iris's hair off. Any you want me to tell you about, Melinda? I probably haven't got
Okay.
everything wrote down.
Okay, what was this one? That birthday greeting.
That was a card, I guess, and I think that's one that Mama and Dad got.
Do you remember whose it was from?
What?
This one that has, is it in this album?
I thought it was from her.
From Mama?
Yeah. I thought it was from her.
Was it in this one?
That no, that very
It
first
looks like
one.
if this was the envelope it was in, it's got Trogdon down there. Got proof.
It was a postcard.
Oh, this first one up there. July the 1st, 1908. That's before I was born. I was born in 1809.
I'll make a trip down here, bring these back so they don't get lost.
Oh,
'Cause
well,
I sure hate something. Do you want me to go ahead and write on the back of that?
what is it?
It's NLC Children's
Yeah.
Special Mailing.
Mhm. I don't know what the boys are gonna do with all these pictures, but I hope they don't burn them.
Yeah, tell them hang on to them.
They look, but you know, now JB's better really than Billy is about pictures. JB's pretty, a lot more.
Billy might not have the time yet, you reckon?
No, not yet. Now JB, and he retired, he's gonna really have a lot of time. Pretty ring.
Yeah, Kent, thank you. Kenneth got that for me a couple years ago.
He did.
You'd think I could remember, but I don't remember.
For what?
Yeah, he got it for me for Christmas.
Did he?
Yeah, that's what he got.
See, I got this, Bill got this ring and he paid it out. Well, one day he made the remark, I've always wanted a ring. Now, I didn't know he always wanted a ring, so I wrote the kids and I said, you want to get your dad something to help you wanted to get your dad something for his birthday, said, just send me some money and we'll go, I'll get him a ring. Well, I told him that, and then he was ready to go, so we went up here to the jewelry store, and he went in, he looked and looked and looked. He didn't find anything, and so we went down to Clark's, the big place downtown, and he didn't want just a ring. I'd just go get a ring, but he wanted a diamond.
Oh.
So, anyway, I had to pay that thing out, I paid it out. But I got him this diamond, and it's a lot better than mine, but I wrote the kids, I said, well, I guess you know we bought a diamond ring. But he is so proud of it. He don't go anywhere with it. And he always he don't wear it everywhere he goes, so he wore it to the doctor, and so the doctor, his hands were swollen, he said, don't wear that ring all the time, Bill. He said, oh, I don't. I just wore it today so you could see it. I talked to she said, you're crazy.
Well, I never did wear my wedding band and ring very much. Then he got me to begin with, 'cause never did like white gold. I don't know why.
Well,
and then, until we was milking, and it would pinch me, because we had the milkers that you put the belt on the cow, and then you put the bucket underneath, and it's hooked on that belt, and just the bucket itself weighed 25 pounds, because it's stainless steel. Anyway, they'd pinch me when I do that, and so I never did wear them. Well, then I got fatter and couldn't wear them, so finally I had them enlarged, and I just didn't wear them that much.
I've never worn my wedding ring. One of the reasons I've just started lately wearing it all the time. I never have since I got it, because all that slush in that shop, I just
Yeah.
didn't want it all gummed up all the time, and so I just never did wear it all the time. Now then, I decided I better get to wearing it, because I don't have too long to wear it. I better get it on, so I put it on.
Well, that's why I don't wear
But
this.
see, my hand is so
every day.
crippled, that's the way it is. I can't put gloves on hardly at all. I have to work hard and kind of place them in there.
I didn't realize your hand was crippled.
Yeah, it
That's
is,
like
and this
that.
is getting the same way, this finger here. I don't want to do it. Can't write very good
Yeah,
anymore.
Joyce is having trouble like that. with
Is
her
she?
hand. Uh-huh.
Yeah, see, it's really crippled. But that's the reason I quit the beauty shop. See, it's got so crippled that I rolled up the hair and I couldn't turn it loose, and I couldn't work. I just got where I couldn't, just had to quit. That wasn't no way out, but I should have quit 5 years sooner than I did.
Yeah.
Really, I worked too long. I worked till I was 73. And that was,
That is,
that's
on your
just-
feet and everything, yeah.
just too long. That's what's the matter with my back, Carolyn. Pumping that, hydraulic chair up and down, sometimes I can hardly trip it. Took all my weight to trip it,
Joyce is having trouble they're wanting to operate on her wrist. It's not corporal syndrome, it's bones, you know, it's affected her fingers, it's affected in here too, her wrist.
Mhm.
And, you know, she used to do so much canning, I mean, 3-4 times more than I ever did, 'cause she canned for kids and herself.
Yeah.
And just, and, you know, tightening them jars and stuff, and her arm and wrist would get hurt so bad. And she'd go ahead, you know, well, probably whenever they was doing that, she should've stopped, you know, tightening them
You
on
don't do
their
it,
thighs.
you just keep it doing. That's
Uh-huh.
what I did. I knew very good I was hurting myself and just kept going.
Then she's helped down at the barn, the dairy barn, and, but she says she can't anymore do that. And, she doesn't need to anyway, 'cause their oldest boys did with them anyway. So I told her, I said, let them guys do it.
Yeah.
You seen that one of ours and Vern that I had made off of one like that,
Did I?
you?
Was it in here?
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
got to
it's
go,
in,
I've got to go through,
in that blue
in this
one.
one, I've got
Uh-huh.
to go through that again.
It turned out real good.
You gave me one of these, didn't you?
Yes, uh-huh. Or did
I
I?
just-
No, that's yours there. I just put it in there. I'll just give it to you in that.
Oh,
And then you can, I've ordered about 200 of these, and you
Did
put
you?
your pictures in it, and they claim that acid, that some of this plastic like this will go in your paper
oh, I think.
because of the acid in the paper, and, you know, like when it starts getting like this, does,
Yeah,
and that keeps your pictures.
just like this.
I got it through the genealogy thing.
I wish my kids could see this. Oh,
Well, I'm gonna send off and see how it looks. See, I hadn't sent it off yet. You know, they said they could make them colored.
Copper, copy.
Copy them, and they're real good. So I haven't sent off yet, but I'm gonna send it off and see. And if it is, then I'm gonna have some more of those made.
Well,
So I'll send you one when I have
It was, yeah. Well, send me two and I'll pay you whatever
Okay.
they are,
Okay.
Carolyn. You just be sure to tell me how much they
Okay.
are. I'll pay for them, 'cause I'd love for the boys to have one of those.
I think
that
it
would
is
really
so
tickle
good.
JB.
And, you know, just coloring it made all the difference
Oh,
in the world.
yeah, give it so much alive.
You know, if that picture, if Daddy isn't in that picture, I'll tell Mother. She thought that one was him, see. She didn't, she said that, you know, that in the Hogan school,
Yeah,
he said that was his picture. And, he always said that was him in there, but it might not have been. If it isn't, if that's Lawrence in there,
yeah, that's
well, he's
Lawrence.
the one that needs the picture.
That little white-headed boy is Lawrence, I
Uh-huh.
know that, 'cause he's the only white-headed one. See, Dad had twin brothers, Uncle Roy and Uncle Raleigh were
Uh-huh.
twins. One had coal black hair and the other one had blonde hair.
Oh, Uncle Roy had the
Then
black
Uncle
hair.
Roy had the black hair, and
Yeah.
Uncle Raleigh had
Well, I'll
blonde
try.
hair like Lawrence.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember my Aunt Hattie, Uncle Raleigh's wife. And we used to go over there, and what we'd have for supper was popcorn and milk. Us kids loved that.
Oh, really? I think that's good of Grandma and Grandpa even.
Carolyn, I don't think I've got a picture like this.
Oh, you don't?
I'm
Well, if
sure
you
I
don't, well, you can have that one.
Have you got any more?
Yeah, I had several made up whenever I,
No, I know I don't have one like that.
well, just go ahead and
Take this one out.
take that out,
Well, you'll have to, I'll let you. This way? Yeah, I just can't. No,
I think that is so cute.
It is cute, but I know I don't have one like it.
Okay, you can go ahead and,
Well, I sure appreciate that, isn't it?
and I thought that was good, 'cause it was a small picture too.
It was? Oh, they've done a good job, didn't they? They sure do a good job.
See
We'll
that
have to
one?
remember this, where it goes.
See that in the Iris and Vern down there?
Yeah, that was a little one, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
I think I've got one like that. No, I don't remember that doll.
Well, if you want, yeah, here's that one right here.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want a bigger one, you can
No,
go ahead and have that
that's
one.
just fine, that's just fine right there.
But I thought those numbers did real well. You don't have, they didn't have any negatives of any of these, did they? Did you know of? They didn't have any negatives or anything?
No. No, I just, so good of your daddy.
I thought they did
I
a real
just
good
think
job
they
for
done
what
a
they
great
had.
job.
I mean, it was just a little picture like this in the annual. And Lisa had given Piffy the annuals, Dale's annuals, and it was in one of his annuals. And that's where we seen it, so but Mother said when she remembered them calling to come up there and they took a picture and said they never did get any
Get anything
pictures or
of it.
anything, If they had of it, it'd been even
You
better.
know,
than that.
Lisa'd like to see that too. I don't know how Lisa, poor little Lisa, she has a rough time. But you know what? For her being blind like she is, she's out doing a lot of them. She's got her own snack bar and saving money and going to buy her a house, and she's doing all right.
Well, you know.
And she's got this guy, this friend, he wants to get married, and she said, I've been married 3 times, I don't want to get married. But he looks after her, and I'm glad.
Did this turn out real good on the paper? I know I could look and see, but